Welcome to the Jobs and Work podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Kendra Jason. I'm a sociologist and workplace equity consultant, and I will bring guests onto the show who reflect the diversity of the American workforce. On this podcast, I challenge you to think about work. Why? Because in America, we spend more time at our jobs than anywhere else. But how often do we really talk about work? And I mean all types of work: women's work, essential work, retirement, being your own boss, how to handle your boss, and so much more. Please subscribe and share the Jobs and Work with Work for Change podcast. You can learn more about my consultancy that supports this podcast at work4changellc.com. Hello, and welcome to episode 38 of the Jobs and Work with Work for Change podcast. Today, I have small business owner Laurie Garo. Laurie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kendra. It's wonderful to be here.
Awesome. So I am going to read Laurie's bio just so we can get a sense of who she is and what she is, especially to Work for Change. And then I'm going to jump into our interview. So Laurie is a lifelong fitness athlete and expert in child trauma that results from exposure to violence, racial and social injustices, and other life adversities. She does hold a doctoral degree in curriculum and instruction for urban education from UNC Charlotte, with research on trauma among Black male secondary students and culture-affirming, healing-oriented trauma interventions. Additionally, she is certified in ultimate bodybuilding through the International Association of Fitness Sciences and in the study of trauma, therapeutics, and healing principles through sports. I love that. Her work experiences include gang and gun violence intervention through a federal program called Project Safe Neighborhoods. She also co-led a youth council and designed and directed a youth leadership academy for ages 13 through 17. So both of these programs serve Black children and youth, okay? Her trauma-focused training is an outgrowth of her own childhood experiences with trauma. And Laurie recently retired from over 25 years of teaching at UNC Charlotte to continue her outreach work with Black children and youth through boys. She has a weightlifting and mentoring program called Lifting Inspirations. And some fresh off the press news is that Laurie is a newly published author of a book called Unsilencing Youth Trauma: Transformative School-Based Strategies for Students Exposed to Violence and Adversity. All right. Now, the biggest thing in Laurie's life, I say as a joke, but the biggest thing is that Laurie was just awarded the Work for Change 2021 Small Business of the Year award winner for her tenacity and her success for her first year of business. So, Laurie, what a story already. So I just want to jump into, because we see you have the lifting inspiration swag. You can get some lifting inspiration swag. You can, Laurie's handles are right below here. Once you hear about lifting inspirations, you are going to want to support this program and this business. So your bio really kind of detailed academically and your personal background, what led to Lifting Inspirations. But tell us more about what Lifting Inspirations actually is and how long you've had this idea to start a business around Black male youth.
Well, I've been also a lifelong bodybuilder, although competing the last 12 years.
Okay.
And the bodybuilding world is about lifelong health and fitness.
Yes.
And a lot of the people involved are very strong in character as well as their body. And I've noticed that men really nurture and mentor one another in the gym.
Yes.
Informally.
Yes.
So not lying on the couch and explaining your life story, but just informally they get their aggressions out while also talking about their issues that they probably wouldn't talk about with other people.
Right.
So that alone told me that this is a good environment for boys to have mentoring.
Yeah.
The work with Project Safe Neighborhoods that you mentioned, I noticed that a lot of the children really have very evident trauma. A lot of it just from, not being accepted or being treated, put in special education and the things that they go through are painful.
Right.
And in the environment that we had at the Youth Leadership Academy, they would discuss with the mentors. So I had Black male and female mentors for the program, and they would discuss all their issues, sometimes at the point of crying.
Yeah.
And we had activities as well that gave them diversity from sitting still so long.
Yeah.
But overall, they needed caring adult interventions.
Yes. Yeah.
And as I continued with bodybuilding, I just realized that this was a really good way to integrate the mentoring with the physical aspects, which physical activity helps to regulate trauma.
Right.
So we go to the gym, we feel better.
Yeah.
It's because we're de-stressing.
Right.
And children need that too.
Yes.
And there's a reason, in the brain science why that works.
Yep.
We don't think about it. We just exercise and we feel better.
Yep.
But children oftentimes don't get that regular exercise.
Right.
They don't get that training.
Yeah.
So this gives them that training on how you take care of yourself for the rest of your life.
Right.
As well as being part of that family and community where they can turn to when they, they need someone to talk to.
And then thank you for that. What about you had a 25-year career. One thing I really, really, really love about your story, Laurie, and of course, this wasn't in your bio, it's just because actually Laurie and I met each other at the gym. We went to the same gym, and that gym was a very positive place, not just for working out, but the camaraderie and the support and the informal mentorship and relationship building. So I totally get that. So Laurie, again, 25 years, had a career, but you more recently got your PhD. You more recently released a book. Now, you more recently started a whole new business after your career. So for timing for you, what made you take on this venture, after this 25-year career?
Well, that 25-year career was to raise children with a steady income.
Yes.
But it was not my passion.
Gotcha.
And when I got to work with Project Safe Neighborhoods, that pulled out my passion.
Mm-hmm.
But my work said, you're a lecturer, you have to teach.
Yes. Yes.
So I said, okay, I'm going to get my PhD so I can, do what I want. And so I got my PhD. It took 8 years, by the way. Raising kids and grandkids and village kids. But I made it. I got there. And opportunities still didn't open up.
Mm-hmm.
So when it came 25 years and I was able to leave, this is my opportunity to follow my own passion.
Yeah.
To work with these kids, that it was such a wonderful experience. And to have to stop it because of a job.
Right.
It bothered me.
Yes.
You open up this opportunity for kids and then you take it away. And that's wrong. So now I don't have to clock in. I can do what I really believe that I need to be doing.
And I think that's so many people's story, not just the fact that you are raising children and a family, especially like as a single parent. That was my story as well, but once you get job security, that takes priority, right? And what I love about your story, even in how you just articulated it, is that yeah, we do what we have to do. There were some great things in the academy and teaching and all those things, but it really held you up from your passion. And so now you are fully involved in that passion. So what has the last year been like for you? Because tell us when your business, I guess, would be officially launched, if you have a date in that sense, and what this year has been.
Well, I believe it was February last year. I took the Work for Change, How to Start a Business course,
Yes.
which is fabulous, by the way.
Thank you.
And after the first session, you guys were just so enthusiastic and supportive. I went went online and signed up.
You got your LLC. Yep. I remember you emailed it to me. You was like, look what I did. I was like, yay. So what have been the ups and downs over that year for you?
The ups really is the heartwarming belief in the business that so many people have given me. Yes. People I didn't even expect.
Yes.
They said, this is wonderful. I love it. You got to keep doing this. And
yes.
You really need it. And that's been just the thing that has kept me going through trying to find that first place where we can actually work.
Yes.
So there are places that would let us volunteer, but not really do a program where, I have a staff who this is how they earn their living. And we're a program, people certified, professional. It needs to be, paid, not to make lots and lots of money, but
but you need money to run a business.
Yeah. So finding that first launch is a challenge, a real challenge. And I'm an LLC, not a nonprofit. So I have some limitations in terms of grant funding, but I don't want to be restricted to grants because they come and go and then your program goes away. So I want something sustainable.
Yes. And so, again, Laurie took the Starting Your Own Business workshop. We have another one coming up April 16th and 23rd. So please go to our website to check that out. But I mentioned that to say that, when Laurie was in our workshop, there was a lot of brain work we had to do with your idea, because number one, it was February of 2021. So we were still like in the throes of COVID-19 restrictions. I don't think kids were even in school at that time. They may have been remote learning. And then we had to really talk about, well, do you want to do a nonprofit or do you want to do a for-profit LLC, and kind of weigh those options. And so I really, really commend Laurie, because Laurie, I was like, look, where my limitation is, here's where I can refer you. And you followed those, referrals and got the support you needed. But one thing we also talk about in that workshop and that you also express is that there is so much support for small business owners and for people who see you following your passion, and they're really, really inspired by that. And they could be inspired because, they're in a situation where they can't necessarily follow their passion. So, it feels really good to support someone who is, or, in the case like me and other small business owners, you're following your passion and you have some success and you get some, you get that feedback. I think that's the most important thing. You get that really heartwarming feedback, encouragement, and support, again, from people who were never even on your radar. So I always think about when people are timid about starting their own business, and they're like, well, I don't know anybody who'll support me. And I say, just wait, just do it, because the support is going to come from places you never imagined. So just move forward. So
I remember you saying that, and,
yeah.
and it really happened.
It's one of those things, you like, trust the process. That was one thing that was so inspiring to me when I started, because I don't come from a family of small business owners. I didn't have an inside track. I didn't think I knew many people who own their business, but actually I found out I kind of do know a lot of people who have what they may call it a small gig or a hustle, but these are businesses, right? They're legitimate businesses. And so anyway, that support that you get, and it just it just grows. And so another thing that we talk about, another thing that you've done, your website looks really good, right? Keeping yourself out there and being consistent. So I applaud that work too, of just doing small things along the way to just kind of keep you moving forward in that sense, right?
And I learned a lot of that from you, actually, because I watch you and how you, because you started not too soon before me,
right?
And you're doing amazingly. So oh, I see they're posting today, and
yes.
they've designed this nice way of presenting themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Like I said, so Work for Change was launched in January of 21. And Laurie started, she did our starting your own business workshop early in the spring. I remember you were preparing for retirement that summer. So again, like, you don't have to, wait until you retire or wait until that next phase. It's all preparation. Work for Change started in January, but the planning and the thought work and the consulting, because I consulted with, just like Laurie consulted with me with the Starting Your Own Business workshop, I consulted with some folks. That was almost a year of work before you launch and you present it, and then it works out very well. And so I am so excited and looking forward to what's next for Lifting Inspirations, and what's next for you. And the book, do you want to say anything about the book? I know it was just released like within the week or so, right?
Yes. That was, a labor of love. My co-worker, co-editor, co-friend calls it a God project.
Yes.
Because there were so many delays that really were for a reason.
Yeah.
That the book is being introduced at a time when children are so traumatized by so many things, but compounded with COVID and everything that comes with that, and the racial injustices that came to a head in 2020. They're having a hard time. Yeah. And schools are having a hard time. I watch online as teachers say, I don't know what to do with these kids. And so this is a book that it's not a recipe, this is what you do, because every child is different, every situation is different, but it gives you ideas on how you can go about compassionately helping children to heal. Yeah. And taking care of yourself as well, making sure that you're healed and whatever way you have to, so that you can not take it out on the kids. Yeah. It's just a very inspirational book. It includes some chapters written by youth. Okay. Now they're young adult, but they were youth at the time. And their perceptions of what they experience. Yeah. And how it affects them. How schools' handling of their own trauma actually serves to hurt them. Yeah. There's poetic expressions by some other youth that are very powerful. Yeah. And then a whole lot of very wonderful professional people contributing how to help teachers, how to help counselors, how to help themselves, families. kind of a total way to deal with this post-pandemic.
And that's the, sorry to interrupt, and that's the approach that I love with Lifting Inspirations, because people see you're a bodybuilder. I know she has a sweatshirt on today, but whoo, you'll see the pictures in the podcast, right? But with the youth that you're working with, not only are you physically training them, you're mentally training them too, but you're doing it with such care. I remember you have yoga, meditation as well in your programming. You have mentorship in your programming. You talk about life skills and career options and education and things of that nature. So when a parent, if you will, hands their kid, off to, you and Lifting Inspirations in that program, that little boy may be excited by weightlifting in a weightlifting room and seeing these, these Black men working out, but, lo and behold, they're getting a holistic approach to, like you said, is culturally informed and is healing centered, to help them work through their past harms and traumas and to get them to a healthy state of. And I just don't want that to get lost. And as we're talking about lifting inspirations, because your research and who you are as a person is fully encompassed in your approach and how you care for these Black youth. And that's just an awesome, and a really unique approach too, through the weightlifting.
I don't know of another program that deals with it specifically in that way.
No, me either. I think it's an excellent idea. And I my message is always just to be consistent with your message. It's going to get to the right ears. And those right ears are going to have the right hands to go in their pockets, or, the right lenses to get you to an audience that'll really, can take advantage and really help support your program so it can, reach a lot of youth. And I know you have been really, really thoughtful about how to make the program accessible to Black youth who may not have the funding and the supports and things that you need. So I just really, really appreciate that. So let me ask you this. What advice would you have, Laurie, for someone who wants to start their business? It's an idea they've been sitting on for a while. They may be raising children or have other obligations. They're been in a career for a number of years, or maybe even looking into retirement. What advice would you have for that person who's still contemplating what they should do next?
First, they should take your workshop. And I'm not saying it just because this is by you, but yeah. It's just an amazing program that gets you inspired in a way that also provides the information and the resources that you need. Mm-hmm. You come out of it with not a complete business plan, but a lot of components that you yes. need for that business plan. You are able to organize yourself. You recommend mentors and yeah. other resources to look into. So it helps you get a structure. Yes. As well as that inspiration that you need, someone to believe in you already, before you even believe in yourself. And, mm-hmm. and then follow through. Right. Stay connected with positive people. Yes. Who believe in you and who provide that feedback. So when things seem like they're hard, someone is still pushing you, hey, you can do this. This is needed, and keep going. Thank you. Anything else? Take care of yourself. Yes. I always say, make the time to exercise, eat better, get your rest. Yes. Stay away from stress. Yes. Because those things bring you down. They do. And once you're working or living in your purpose and your passion, it feels different. Like you don't get stressed from the work that you do. Not to say it's not challenging, because of course it comes with challenges, but the challenges feel different. They're your challenges, and again, you're living in your purpose and your passion.
And so it just has a whole, when some people want to start their business, they just think that it's another heavy thing to do. And again, not that it doesn't come with its challenges and things to figure out, but as Laurie explained, with my program, or there are other programs that are available out there that really kind of give you the nuts and bolts, and give you references and recommendations for how to get started. So I echo Laurie's sentiment, to follow your dream and your passion, and don't let retirement or older age or or what's the word, sort of giving up on your dream stop you from, living a really, really fulfilling life in a way that you may have had to delay for really legitimate reasons. So anyway, I would like to thank Laurie for this talk today. Again, we've been featuring Laurie all week on our social media platforms. Her social media platforms are below, so you can contact Laurie directly if you want to find out more about her programming, if it's something that you're interested in for your own child, or for an institution or school that you know of who may be interested in holistic programming in this way. You can always find Work for Change at our various social media handles. Below, you'll see our Linktree handle, which has all of our social media in one nice spot. So again, thank you for listening to Laurie's story today. Thank you for tuning in, and please like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to work to make the world of work better. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much.